All right, everybody, welcome to my Peoria Regional recap. We're going to go over what happened in my 4-4-1 tournament. We're going to go over the deck list I played and any changes that I would make and what I'm doing moving forward. So, first of all, this is the deck I took. It was Gardevoir. This Gardevoir list is based on the list that Tord has been using over the last month or so, really since Worlds. I've kind of been using his list, to a T, but I've made some changes for this particular regional for things that I expected to see and just kind of how I wanted to play the deck. So, a couple changes here. One is one that I've been doing for a while. You'll notice here that I do have the 2 teleportation Ralts. I have the memory skip, but I also run the Scarlet and Violet Ralts. That is strictly in here for the mirror match. A lot of times it's not expected to see that one. So if an opponent comes in and hits with a baby Guardy, they may take it down to 10 HP. So I can, they may not take it down to 10 HP because they know the teleportation Ralts can hit them. But if they take it down to 30 HP, I can come in with the Scarlet and Violet Ralts, hit it for 30, and then I have not wasting a Gardevoir or anything like that when they return KO. Other than that, it's really just, it's there. It doesn't hinder me. It still has 70 HP. So I'm not really losing anything. It still has 1 retreat cost. So, and I cannot think of a single time I've used the teleportation attack. Maybe on turn 1 going second just to get something else in the active. I don't know. But ultimately it's a Ralts that just has a variety of attack, another variety attack. That's why it's there. Going down to the Kirlias, I do play one of the Mirage Step Kirlia. I was not a believer at first, but after seeing Tord play, seeing a bunch of other people play this list, it really gets you out of sticky situations. And as rare as this deck bricks, when it does, the Mirage Step Kirlia pulls you out of that brick so many times. It has single-handedly brought me back into games where I have dead drawn and there wasn't really anything else I could do. And even in the good games, it allows you to play with 5 or 6 Kirlias, Gardevoirs, which is really awesome. It's also a good comeback mechanic. If, late in the game I've taken some KOs, I can rod back my Mirage Step Kirlia and my other Kirlias, do a Mirage Step, and now I have my Kirlias back. So there's just a lot of flexibility you can do with Mirage Step, and at the very least, it's a Kirlia that you can evolve into a Gardevoir. Radiant Greninja, it's a great card. I thought about dropping it because of the rise of Mew EX and what it can do with Moonlight Shuriken, but it's just too good to drop. You just have to be careful when you play it. Sometimes you have to play Manaphy with it, and it'll take up a couple extra bench slots, but it's just absolutely too good of a card to even consider removing. We have the Cresselia. It's standard in the list. It's a game winner. Really good in the mirror. Really good against Lost Zone. Really good against Charizard. I was able to take some Pidgey knockouts back to back with it, which kept me in the game against the Charizard deck. Going the 2-2 Gardevoir line, which is standard. 1 Zacian, 1 Celebrations Mew. And the big change that I've done here is I am playing 1 Mew EX. The ability isn't great. It's 180. There's 0 retreat cost. It doesn't really do much. However, the attack is absolutely incredible, and it gives Gardevoir that late game reach that sometimes it feels like it's missing. It can be that final KO against a Lost Tina, against a Giratina V-Star. It can take out a Miraidon. And my favorite play is that boss Moonlight Shuriken and hit an opponent's bench. And I accomplished that twice in this regional, and both times won me the game that I would have otherwise lost. As far as the trainers, 4 Level Ball is standard, 2 Fog Crystal, that's pretty standard, 4 Battle VIP Pass. One thing that I have done here is I am playing 4 Ionos and 3 bosses. That was the change I made before the regional. I felt like I needed to give myself a good fighting chance against a lot of expected lost box, and that's what the extra Iono is in there for. being able to Iono on turn 2, 3, and 4 is just absolutely incredible. And being able to find those Ionos and use them over and over again, it can really keep you in the game. And with that change, I also went up to the third boss's orders, because sometimes you really just want that boss early, and playing the pal pad allows you to reuse the bosses, but it doesn't really help you find it early. So I wanted to go that extra boss there, and so running the extra Iono extra boss means you don't really need the pal pad. So that's why I was able to drop the pal pad. I am playing the Lost Vacuum, so between the 2 collapsed stadiums, the Temple of Sinnoh and the Lost Vacuum, I have 4 stadium bumps without the worker. The big thing about the worker, I choose to not use the worker because I want to be able to Iono stadium bump or boss stadium bump, and worker just doesn't provide that for me. And then Temple of Sinnoh. Temple of Sinnoh is a card that I have in there. It really only does anything for the Lugia matchup, but it gives you a good fighting chance against the Lugia matchup. Now, before this regional, the 151 is legal, so single strike Lugia has kind of fallen to the wayside, and colorless Lugia has kind of taken over. That makes Temple of Sinnoh not nearly as good as it is against single strike Lugia. It does shut off the double turbos. It shuts off the gift, which is huge. Shuts off the jet, so it does a lot of things. But playing against colorless Lugia and around, it just didn't do much. Although I didn't really get to play the game much. We'll get into that in a minute. But going into this, I would absolutely drop the Temple of Sinnoh, and I would probably play something like Pokemon Headquarters or whatever it is. That feels like it's really strong into the current meta with all the Lost Box floating around, and I would probably switch it to that going forward. Alright, let's do a little breakdown of the matches here. I did end up going 4-4-1, so not as good as I had hoped. First half of the day was significantly better than the second half of the day. I'm not going to go over all of them, partially because some of them were just not that exciting, and the other part is I kind of don't remember much about some of them. So, round 1 was colorless Lugia. I do remember this one where game 1 was a turn 2 Lugia V-Star double Archeops, and there was really nothing I could do. So when I saw the writing on the wall, I scooped, knowing I would have enough time for a game 2 and game 3. Game 2, it took him a couple turns to get the Archeops out, but I could not find my Temple of Sinnoh, and the gift energy was just allowing him to draw. He was able to outrace me. I did get him down to 1 prize, but he was able to outrace me and just get the KOs when he needed to. So I did lose that one 0-2. Round 2 was against a Gardevoir Mirror. I told my team, told others that, if I can get a Gardevoir Mirror, I'm happy, because I generally feel I am the better Gardevoir player than the player sitting across the table from me. So I went into this pretty confident, seeing it was a Gardevoir Mirror. Early in game 1, he was able to get 3 Kirlia out, where I was struggling to get a board going. I was able to Mirage Step, but one of my Refinement Kirlias were in my prizes, so I was only able to get 2 Refinement Kirlias out to his 3. He was able to get kind of an early lead with some card draw going, so I saw he had discarded his Manaphy early, and he had his Greninja on the bench. So I was able to get a Mew EX, boss up the Greninja, and Moonlight Shuriken 2 of his Kirlias. And that was enough to get me back in the game, get me to pull ahead. He had to rod back his Kirlia, but he also rodded back his Manaphy, which took up another bench slot, and it was enough to stall him to where I was able to win game 1. Game 2, because we were a Gardevoir Mirror, we were not even close to finishing game 2 and time hit. I made sure I was not stalling the game, but I made sure to not bench any 2 prize cards unless I had to, unless I was going for some attack. Time was called, and then I was able to get the win after winning round 1. On to round 3 against Charizard. Game 1 was not too eventful. He was able to get a Charizard, 2 Charizards, and a Pidgeot together pretty quick. He was just able to outrace me. There wasn't much I could do. Game 2, he got a couple Charmanders out and an Entei, and that was it. So I tried to get my board as quick as possible. I got a Cresselia out, hoping to get one of his Charmanders. He was able to get 1 Charizard and benched a Pidgey. So with my Cresselia, I was able to knock out his Pidgey before he was able to evolve that. He returned KO'd the Cresselia. I played another Pidgey. I rotted back the Cresselia, knocked out the Pidgey again, and then I was able to use reversals, knock out his Charizard, his Entei, and with that and the 2 Pidgeys, that was my 6 prizes. So I won Game 2, and just as we were shuffling up for Game 3, time was called. So that ended up being a draw. Round 4, I was shuffling up, sat across the table from Javad Cruz. Very nice guy. We're shuffling up, and I see that he is playing Chien-Pao. I absolutely hate playing against Chien-Pao. It is a bad matchup for Gardy in general and a bad matchup for me. I have very, very few wins against Chien-Pao's Gardy. They're just faster than me. I don't really honestly know how to play the matchup. It's not great. However, Game 1, I start with a Zacian and nothing else. I can't remember what he starts with, but it's not much. He is bricked as much as I am. So I'm able to Attack Energy and Roar the Sword. I can Attack Energy on turn 2. I want to say he had a Chien-Pao out, because I was not able to get the KO right away. But I was able to swing for 150 with the Zacian, put pressure early, and he had bricked so much. He was Pokestopping away Iridas and Baxcaliburs, and he had just bricked so hard that I was able to eventually get the win after a long grindy game. Game 2, we're shuffling up, and I know time is running low, but we still got to play Game 2. So we get going. He's off to a better start. I make sure to bench the Manaphy so he can't get 2 prizes. And time gets called about midway through the game. We can't finish, and I end up getting that win. So I go into lunch at 2-1-1. Very happy about that, knowing that I can still get 1 loss, go 4-1 in the second half of the day, and get my day 2. During lunch, I'm looking at the standings, looking at what other players are 2-1-1, seeing what I may end up facing. And I'm scrolling through and seeing some guys like Andrew Hendricks and Andrew Estrada sitting at 2-1-1, and I'm like, yeah, well, knowing my luck, I'm going to get that loss right here and not be able to lose any other games for the rest of the night. Sure enough, when round 5 is called, my opponent is Andrew Estrada. I introduced myself to him. Very, very nice. He introduces himself. I mentioned that, I know who he is. It's exciting to play against somebody of his caliber. He's talking very humble. Very, very nice guy. So we get ready to play Game 1 here, and I'm expecting Lost Zone Kyogre, which is what he won Pittsburgh with, and he drops Chien-Pao. I'm thinking the same thing against Javad, where I cannot play this match. I'm not good at it. And now I'm playing against a regional and world champion. But it is Pokemon. Anything can happen. So we're playing Game 1. I absolutely get steamrolled. I get the Manaphy out. I'm able to kind of hold on a little bit, but between 2 Baxcaliburs, Chien-Pao, he's just faster than me, and there's not much I can do. So I scoop when I see the writing on the wall. We shuffle up for Game 2. We get going. I do the first search of my game and see that my Manaphy's prized. He kind of has a slow start. He's got a couple Frigivax on the bench that he's not able to evolve. He's not hitting what he needs. So I drop my Mew EX and I do the Boss Greninja Moonlight Shuriken play on his Frigivaxes. And so I'm able to get a couple KOs that way, and it significantly slows him down to the point where I'm actually able to come back and win the game. So we're on to Game 3. Game 3 starts, time's called. However, based on the situation, a tie and a loss for me is exactly the same. Regardless, I have to win the rest of my matches to get that day 2, where someone like Andrew Estrada actually has the chance to win the game. So I end up conceding the match to him. It helps him, and it doesn't really hurt me. He was very thankful about that. We wished each other luck and moved on. Game 6, I end up playing a Charizard. I'm a little bummed after, I couldn't pull out the win there, knowing that I have to win the rest of the matches. There is really not much to say about this one. I had a hard brick Game 1 and a hard brick Game 2. There just really wasn't anything I could do Game 1 or 2, and it was over very, very fast. So I took the loss. This is the first time in any of the rounds that I had a significant amount of time between games. So I just took that opportunity to walk around, watch some of the high-profile games, watched a little bit of the streamed game, walked over, found Azul's table, Tord's table, just kind of watched them and just kind of enjoyed some Pokemon. So after that, round 7, I get paired up to another Charizard. This guy, after he sees I'm playing Gardy, immediately confesses that he has not seen this matchup very often. And so ultimately that helped me win. I ended up going 2-0 in this one. He just made some misplays. He was a fine player. He played well, but he, as he admitted, hadn't played the matchup much. So I won 2-0 in that one. Round 8 was my opponent didn't show up. So that was a nice win. Took that opportunity to walk around. I actually got a chance to have a conversation with Tord after his match that round. And then round 9. It was a very, very close game, round 1, against Lost Tina. He was a little bit faster than me and was able to get the job done. So we shuffle up for round 2, and I had another brick. I can't exactly remember what I had, but it just wasn't enough. He was able to come back and win pretty strong. So that was my round. After round 9, I kind of walked around, watched some more high-profile matches. After that round, I was able to meet Azul, so that was kind of cool. He was happy to sign the couple cards that I had him sign, and have just a brief conversation. He seemed very, very, very genuine in his in his kindness that he showed. So that was really cool. So overall, 4-4-1 was my final score officially. There were definitely some mistakes I made. It was fine. I think I had a good tournament overall, but I had some mistakes, some things that I would do over. Gardy was a fine play. It is unfortunate that I came across 2 Baxcaliburs and 4 Charizards. The Charizard matchup isn't bad, but it's not a fun matchup. It's kind of annoying. It's a very swingy matchup. So the fact that 6 of my matches were Baxcalibur and Charizard's kind of rough. It was fun. It was a good experience. Since I have moved on from Gardevoir, since that's pretty much all I've been playing, I still have it in my back pocket, but I have moved on to, as you've seen or could have seen from my other videos, the Baxcalibur Chi and Pow deck. That is now what I've been grinding. I'm giving it a try, seeing how I feel, and I absolutely love the deck right now. So it's given me 2 options to play in the future. I'm excited to see, where things go with this, and future tournaments with these 2 decks. Well, that was my deck tech and tournament results. If you listened all the way to the end, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I hope to be doing more of these. The more tournaments I go to, hopefully I have better results than this one. But I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen, to communicate, whether it be on here or Twitter. Look forward to doing more videos in the future. Thank you all. Have a good night.